Hi everyone, welcome to MAAGuests live talk series. Today we are together with Berke Debensason and welcome Berke. I'm really excited to host you today. And
Thank you.
First of all, I would like to shortly to do an introduction about Berke to introduce him to you. Berke is an architect with a background in Istanbul Technical University Architecture Department. He graduated in 2008. Actually, his professional journey has been diverse, ranging from working at some of Turkey's leading architectural firms to managing his own architecture office for an extended period. In 2019, he made a significant move to London. He took a decision and he decided to transform in his approach to architecture. The change in this environment, along with proximity to the technological hub, inspired him to actually reassess traditional design methodologies and explore the integration of technology, especially VR headsets, into architectural practices. Afterwards, in 2021, Berke and his team of architects and developers, they founded Teledomica. And today our main focus will be at Teledomica, but at the same time, I would like to know, of course, more about Berke and his background. And besides that, actually, as an Teledomica, as an initiative focused on researching and developing the potential of mixed reality, XR, in the fields of architecture, engineering, and construction. The name Teledomica itself actually encapsulates their mission.
Let me explain this.
Okay.
Let me explain
you
this.
take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the way that you asked the question, like you had interesting life choices. So
Yeah.
that's why I did a retrospective look to my past. And then I realized that like you were right. I always try to recently I realized that I always try to combine the hobbies or the things that I have fun with the profession somehow. And today this is shifted more to the intersection of architecture and technology, but back in the days it was more in music and architecture,
Yeah.
entertainment and architecture. So I went back to the year 2010. So I'd like to explain a little bit of this adventure because this was a strategy for us back in the days when we have graduated from the school. So everyone has the same question like, oh, I'm gonna get a job or a commission. So you need connections and so on. But in our case, we were lucky that we already had a something that we were doing when we have graduated freshly with Cenk and Uğur. You know Cenk,
I
Cenk
know,
Dere.
yes.
So basically, the thing after the school, the project days, one day Cenk told me like, "Why are we going back home? So why don't we enjoy ourselves at the school? We do something." And then on Thursdays, we start organizing lunch parties in ITU Taşkışla faculty.
Uh-huh.
So after a while, people get used to it, like coming after the project class to drink, and I was playing, I was DJing. He was having fun with organizing this event. And then eventually that turned into like, why do we do that only for the ITU students? So let's
Uh-huh.
make it more in general. And then we start doing this in Beyoğlu. And after a couple of months, everybody was coming every month from different schools. And of course, the talks were mainly about architecture, but I was having my fun that I was playing music in these parties. And then this turns out a guy in Istanbul making like renovation projects told us like, look, guys, you are having fun, but this is the spot. I give you this spot. You just do whatever you want to do in the space. So I was playing music. Cenk was showing Turkish movies
Mm-hmm.
like on Tuesday nights on a screen on the street. And then this thing converted somehow into this building. because this building was on the other corner of the street, and the owner came to us, look guys, you're having fun, but maybe you will be interested in doing this project. So at the end, we got our first commission via music, or having this spot. So that
Yes.
was interesting. But then after a while, we got bored of having a nightclub because it's an exhausting job. Every night you have to go and so on. So we shifted back to the architecture, but we were at least satisfied. Meanwhile, I would like to also give a short info about this building because it has a interesting story. So the
Yes.
plot, the next of the building is an empty, burnt down building. And according to law, you are not allowed to have a facade on this side of the building because it's an attached site. But we knew that it has like 80 owners right now, and they will not come together to build something new, and it will remain like this forever, this spot. And still now it is like this. So to overcome this, we cannot open a facade on the blind side of the building. But we thought like, why we not develop designing a furniture in home in the flat, which stretch all the way from the living room to the end of the bedroom, which has small openings like this inside. If in the future somebody built a building next to it, the interior quality wouldn't lose that much.
Mhm.
But till then, it has a very high quality because it's taking the sunlight through these windows, and it also gives a texture like this to the outside. So before we got the approval of the building, we put some small shutters to these holes because it has to be look like a blind facade. But after they went, we removed them. So they still use the building in this way.
Nice.
It was a nice story. And then I continued to design my own projects, mainly in Istanbul and in Bodrum. This. So this happened after 10 years. Yeah, I have some 10 years periods, I think. After 10 years of having like regular architectural practice, uh, a project like this came to us, which is on Decentraland, a metaverse.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know it. It was very
I
popular.
know, I know. During the when was which year you worked
Yeah,
on?
exactly. The
I
pandemic
remember
years.
the pandemic period.
Pandemic
You were
years. It
sharing this.
started because I think they use the state of the feeling of the people like, oh, we're gonna stay at home forever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the
We need
metaverse
to.
was a choice for this, like
Mhm,
a great potential, a great alternative
mhm,
for this. And so they gained that bubble of the metaverse those years. My friend spent thousands of dollars to buy this land in the central land, and
mhm.
today only 20 people I think is online in
Uh-huh.
this
Yeah.
in this metaverse. So some people made money, let's say, that
Mhm,
time.
mhm,
So when he bought the land, he came to us like saying, "Guys, you are the architects. Do something for me on this land." And me and my team, Eren, went into this and learned how to build something, how to upload, and so on. And then eventually we discovered that this is a game. So only a building doesn't mean anything. So there should be some attractions, some interactions in it.
uh-huh.
So we came together with my partner Davey, who coded this building. So the story is like you have to buy this hat. The the concept is the ancients and future,
Mhm,
and this brand has a digital space in Decentraland, and also has some digital products. Which the first one is the hat, the Egyptian influenced clubber hat, let's say. And if you buy this NFT, you are only allowed to go to the parties in this building. So we organize, so we distribute. We sometimes we gave it as a gift. Some people contributed us, bought the NFT, and came to the party. But that was a nice, fun project. And then so we connected the DJ live to the screen and so on. Again, you see a
uh-huh.
nightclub adventure for me.
So you couldn't go far away from your
No,
DJ.
no, it found me
And
again,
it's always
clubbing.
somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
clubbing is always.
No, my dream is to have this the club in the VR as well, but I have some other priorities before I go to this point, which will be, I think, a good experience to have a clubbing experience in VR,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually will be.
Yeah,
Actually, I
for
also give some clues from the as a in a news section to all people,
sure.
which is like the Meta has an agreement with NBA right now. They
Uh-huh.
show the games live in the headset, so
Uh-huh.
you can watch the game. So the nightlife will also shift there if there are good softwares. And then we developed another metaverse project for Hillside. So they have a magazine called Hillside Now. They publish monthly, and they want to have a space where they will be able to transform the space according to the things they are talking about that month. So we built this one, and
Mm-hmm.
then all these experiences were on the screen. They are not VR. Yes, they are three-dimensional projects, was on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, we established Teledomica. So the name is weird for some people. They ask like, what does it mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
interrupt you there because I want to explain what
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
is.
of course.
So the tele is the far, like television or teleport. It means far, and domi means the building. So the Teledomica means the system or the encyclopedic method to bring distant buildings close to you. So this is the main function of the headset for us to experience the distant buildings. And we founded the company. We published the software. I'll talk about later. So how I came to this point is this that I still am a fan, but I was in the school. By the way, I think the magazine library, or how is it called, of ITU is one of the best in the world, school be.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to find everything. So this detail magazine, I was looking at it all the time when I was a student. And sometimes I was getting angry because the thing you see on the right hand side, these axonometric views are not so familiar with the detail. Usually they give it two-dimensional. So what is happening like after 10 centimeters of this section? You don't know unless you have something three-dimensional to explain or to rip it off and see what's going on inside. And when I first saw the headsets, I said like, okay, this magazine eventually is going to be in VR, not with the pages, of course. But we will be able to see these details with everything in VR. And I waited, and nothing came from the detail, and nothing came from the
Mm-hmm.
other magazines as well. And so said we have to fix this problem by ourselves. But instead of publishing an app or a software where you walk the building, we published at the end a software where this detail magazine can use to publish the
Mm-hmm.
issues. Or also the plan magazine as well can use it, or every architect can use it to
Mm-hmm.
publish something three-dimensional. Now the system works in this way. But this one was good to start with because in this case, the components are important. You will need eventually need to understand what is what. What is this? If you touch this, you have to understand what it is. It should be written or with the sound. You have to learn what it is. So this is the model that we start initially. We downloaded it from Sketchfab. It's just a regular building section. But then the questions came like, how do we import this one into the headset? And
Mm-hmm.
what kind of requirement? It's not an easy job because when you open a new file on Unity, you are in the space without anything. You have to code everything. So you have three-dimensional space, but then the coding comes like, how do you generate this world? So how are you going to view this model when you put the headset? Where it is comes? Here, there. How do you inspect it? How do you interact with this one when you put it into the headset? How do you learn things from this one, or you augment it to outside, share it with others? So these are all the facts that we have to develop and explore. But the main question was on which headset? So there are two types of headset right now. One is with the cable, where the CPU of the computer is active. So the headset acts only like a screen to see what's going on the computer. But on the other end, the right side, they are the standalone headsets. So once
Mhm,
I saw the Meta standalone headset, I said, okay, I'm going to do something for this technology because it's approaching.
mhm.
I remember the days when with VR you were installing all the sensors and connections. Like to get it run takes like 50 minutes something, but on the other one, you just put it, it works and it tracks you, everything works. So the future is coming with this standalone headset. So we thought like, okay, our software should be for the standalone ones.
Mm.
But in this case, we compromise something, which is that if you use the CPU of the computer, you can handle with larger files. But on
Mhm.
the standalone side, you got smaller and lighter files. So we
Here
compromise
maybe
it.
I can also ask you, like, because the way how I see, honey, we are redefining the computers which we are using everyday life. And now with all these developments in with these head-mounted sets, and also the way how human is developing their interaction, I see also there are like limitless possibilities, honey, waiting for us to discover, and you are also leading one of them, like, because you keep asking questions and you want to develop or find answers to develop it. But I'm sure, as you were just mentioning, I'm sure that there are uh, opportunities on one side, but there are also a lot of challenges that you are facing today. And maybe you can open up a little bit more, honey, this part, like what are the challenges for you,
Yeah,
especially.
yeah, yeah. I'll come to this point, like what the challenges and what is awaiting for us more and more in the coming days. But let me like finish this on the creation of the software, and then we talk more in general about
Okay.
the architects and the metaverse and the headsets, the connection, because it's really connected. So, but we can say like, or later I'll say that. Okay. So, as I said, we compromised of not showing the complete building because in the standalone headsets, the cloud computing is not that much developed, like getting the render from the clouds into the headset and using it as a screen. That will come in the next decade with powerful cloud computers. But now you are limited to the CPU of the machine, and we're not able to bring people into a complete building of a large file like gigabytes of files. So this strategy went us back to the brought us back to the like thinking, okay, we should then bring the components of the building into the system, and once we have the CPU and the headset develop better capacity, we will do that for sure. So we came up with the idea of the object metaverse. So the Teledomica XR Viewer is an object-based metaverse. So what is object-based metaverse? There are some metaverse apps where the companies are using it to put some stuff into it, and also they jump into it with the avatars. But this kind of metaverse is a burden for the companies. Like they start thinking, oh, now we need to hire another architect, another digital design. How are we going to showcase? What are we going to do? But in our app, the object is important, which you are going to showcase, you want to showcase. So this analogy is that we made an app like the practical like this working back. So you go to a meeting, you want to put a file into it. The same way you go a meeting as an architect, you put the file so easily into our system. So either it's a drawing or it's a scan, you transport it via our web app, and then you try it in your space. You see it. So in this journey, so we invented the methods for XR exhibition. We designed digital spaces for XR exhibition as well, because our app starts in the VR, and then you switch to the XR, like the augmented outside view if you want. The reason of doing this is that sometimes you need to have a look at the larger files, and if you want to see it in the real scale, but if you want to see it in your living room, it will be a weird view, like it doesn't fit into your living room. So if you are in a VR space, a design space, you can shrink it or you can see it bigger. So it's always good to start with the VR. And if the user wants to switch to outside view, we will have some videos and people will understand better. So, but what I will say for architects in this case, we understood like we are developing a software, but if this is a software for spatial computing, like for the headset, then it needs an architecture. It needs a background. So these apps are going to need for designers, let's say, or architectural designers to have some backgrounds. Even, I don't know, how is the Photoshop going to be in the 3D? They will need some new experiences. So once these headsets are going to be used more, we will see more 3D apps with 3D backgrounds. This one is our island. So if someone puts the headset and go into the spaces of us, this is the exterior of our building, which has the actually this antenna is receiving all the GLB files uploaded to our server. And to be able to see this file, the only way is putting the headset on and visiting the Teledomica. The only way of going into this building. So before here, I'd like to show you some videos. Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Oppa. Why? I'm sorry. I don't know why it happened. Last time I tried. Nah, not going to.
Just wait 1 minute. Our
Maybe
team
it's downloading it.
will be checking now.
How many people are we now?
I don't know.
I'd like to have some questions for them, like how many of us has a headset?
Mhm.
Can we gather this information, like if they contribute?
I don't have connection to them, but our
And we
teammate.
cannot make a pool, Zoom, right?
1 second.
Anyway,
Why it
I'll
doesn't show?
open another one. So this, my colleague told me, like, refresh the page, you will have the
Okay.
access. Okay, let's see. Let's see if he's right. So I stop it here because we developed two softwares. One is running in the VR, one is running in the web app on the Chrome or on the Explorers. The thing, okay, we have the VR thing, but how are we going to put the data into it? So we need to access a gateway for that. So we developed this web app for people to upload the models. So there is nothing, no coding, nothing required. So. And another thing is here that before we start developing, and there were the controllers of the headset, like with joystick like.
Exactly.
And just that week or a couple of weeks later after we started, Meta released the hand tracking option. Like the device started to see your hands. And then we immediately said like, in the future, that if there is this technology of hand tracking, in the future there won't be need for any controller for sure. Nobody is going to carry two controllers in the back and sit in the cafe and put the headset on.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately we start about thinking like about a hand controlled app, to develop a hand control app. And we also sent like four patent applications for specific gestures that we have developed. Yeah, I'll show you some of them. So this one is patent. If you make one, it starts to rotate the object that you have selected around this axis. And if you make the left hand, on the other way around. This was another one. So you were asking about the challenges of designing for this medium, right? So once you don't have any control or any button, you have to communicate with your gestures. You have to do something. We are used to do gestures with this one, like this and that. But how is it going to be on the air? So first we develop like, let's open the menu like a watch something. Then another problem happened and so on. And at the end we came up with this, like if you do this, it opens the menu. If you do that, it closes the menu. And for those who are watching this for the first time, will be saying, and they have right to say that, okay, we know this from the phones, like augmenting the furniture. Like IKEA has an app, Amazon has an infrastructure for this. You can try it. But after a certain scale of the object, which is, let's say, like 2 meters sofa, the 2 meters sofa becomes something special because you want to sit on it and see like how your hands are stretching and so on. With the phone, you can just test it from a certain distance. But if you open it with the headset, you walk around it, you sit in it. Or if it's a small tent, you go into it and you feel it. We exported your cottage.
Yeah.
You haven't been, but you will like it when you see it. So you see it with the real dimensions. And we have two options. When you upload a file into our system, you have two options. Either you say, this is an object, or you can select this is a space. If you have something like this, when you upload, you select the space. The system understands that it's a space and you cannot grab it with your hand. Don't try to grab the complete house. You will get dizzy for sure. You cannot grab it, but you can teleport in it to walk. And moreover, you can bring different objects into your design and try them as well in our app. Like this. Let's go back to the story. So now the system works for two purposes, let's say. One, we name it sample room. The other one we should name as showcase. But the sample room is your like personal drive folder. Think about it like your personal drive folder. Whatever you upload, only you see it. You see the file. Or with people you have shared with via email. This is the sample room. If you develop something like like a prototyping something. You don't want to see everybody see that model. You upload it to your sample room. And then if you want everyone to see your models, then you need to open a showcase in our app so everybody will be able to visit that building or a piece of furniture. So basically, that's why we start from our industry, architecture, engineering, and construction, and we have some. I think we have some contributions with this app, like which is that this fast model examination. You can directly export the models and see it alive. We also develop a remote control system for showrooms, like or for exhibitions. If you put the headset on your guest, you can control the file from your phone. So this guy doesn't need to like select the files and so on. You just make the show, like opening the files. Of course, this is reducing the prototyping costs in most cases. This sequence explanation is good for the construction side, actually, where they can stop the animation of the assembly and see in from every angle what is coming on top of what. This AR suitability check as well. And in overall, this is leveraging the client convincement, because when you buy something and if you see it like with exact space, exact dimensions, you get more satisfied, and it's also decrease the rate of returns. And these are the users that we are right now targeting together on our system. These are the exhibitions that we've been to so far. Last week we were in Istanbul for this event, Art Bank DAO. They gathered artists, and about like 10 sculpture artists gave their projects as a 3D scan into that. So it really worked well. I recommend you to visit later in the headset. So basically, we jump on the road with by saying like we're gonna build the best product library for AAC. So we want in the future, so whoever wants to buy a chair for a project, or a light, or even a steel profile something, before you decide, just go and have a look at it on Teledomica, because we guarantee that the dimensions are exactly the same, and the quality of the model as well. Yes, that was it. Let me put the logo on, and then we keep on chat. Do you want to share something?
No, it's, I mean, it's so mind-blowing what you are talking, and I'm really excited, especially when you came in summertime to our office in Istanbul, and when we experienced, I mean, you let me experience the whole story together. Since then, I am extremely excited, and we already tried with you to implement some of our projects, as you mentioned, Koa Hills, the timber house, also in your system. I didn't experience yet the last, I mean, final version, but even the previous version, like on the work in progress part, it was so exciting. And as an architect and as a creative person, it already gives so many ideas and opportunities. Like I mean, keep thinking like, how are we gonna, you already mentioned many things, what we can do with your Teledomica, but I believe at some point we will also come up with certain things that it will help you to develop furthermore your tool. It
Yes,
looks like.
for
And
sure, because we've been developing for the last 1.5 years, and the only people giving feedback is us. So it's
yeah,
not productive. So it's time to share the software with others.
exactly.
Especially, I want contribution from the students, because they do it very
Mm,
well and they grab it very fast, and they will have a lot of demands, I think. We have a
exactly.
list of uh, we have a checklist for development for the future, like
Mhm,
getting the dimensions into it,
mhm,
having the gravity work.
mhm.
So this is also expected from a lot of people, because once they grab the object, they try to throw it to someone else's head. But right now it stops on the air.
It's the
So,
human reaction.
so all these technologies are somehow getting combined in a certain point because the new headset, I'll show you this one.
Mhm.
This one, the Meta Quest 3, it starts scanning the space. So
Hmm.
what it means, if I do augmented reality and if I drop the waist, it will stop on the real low table I have at home. So it will be there. It will be
Mhm.
snapping on the floor and so on.
Wow.
So it will bring more realistic
No.
experiences and it will develop in this way, I think. What I'm
Mhm.
thinking, like in the future, we will be able to see a guy sitting at home with the headset and making something like this and that. In reality, this guy is controlling the drone on top of the high rise, which is mounting, installing the facade components probably. It will be that all of them will get it. So once I saw this thing, developing something in this is fun, let's say, first of all. Fun and something with lots of opportunities. So we decided to start for that. Oh, there's something to design in this, either as a
Exactly.
space, either is a an interaction. But
Mhm.
there are things, and everybody starts from their point of interest. If I were a doctor, I would probably be developing a surgery app or
Mhm.
something. So
Yeah.
everybody comes up with ideas from their profession. And what I saw as a lack, a current lack, is this that for companies, I'm not talking about for students, but for companies, this headset is really affordable, $500. So
Mhm.
which is less than a laptop, a little bit more than an LCD screen,
Mhm.
maybe a printer. But it must be a native tool, a native device for our profession. It will be.
Mhm. Mhm.
Once the customers start asking you, okay, Medica, that's nice, but would you send me via Teledomica? I want to see the space at home with that set.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the architects will be pushed to produce for this, but it shouldn't be for the presentation only. It should be used during the design process.
Yeah, I think so too. Because if not, it will be very limited and very
Yeah,
small.
but in the beginning, we said like, okay, we're not going to be a drawing software. We're not going to be a drawing software in the VR because there are bigger companies working on this.
Mhm.
We focus more on showcasing thing. But there
Mhm.
are softwares like Gravity Sketch where you can almost like Rhino-like interface
Mhm. Mhm.
where you tried Tilt Brush. That's an
Yeah,
also
yeah.
design app, which is fantastic for the
I love it.
sculpture. Huh?
I use it. I loved it. I
There
so
is no other way of like drawing a line on air
it's
floating line. No way. Or
it's so
imagine like
fantastic.
the Beat Saber game, like the
Mhm.
boxes are coming to you, try to cut them. In real life, you cannot throw boxes on people
Exactly. Yeah.
like this. So for the sport, this will be the real e-sport, not the finger sport like this right now on the screens. The games on this one will be really the e-sport. And slowly we approaching the Spielberg's movie, I think, the Ready Player One.
Mhm. And when you say movie, I just remember now because when I first experienced Teledomica, I was also discussing with you. I got this idea, and you were also saying Teledomica can become also MAA's 3D portfolio. So when I
Yes.
go to a presentation to a client to introduce MAA as a company, I can actually open and put the headset on them and they can see the as a physical model and open some videos and some images from there. And so real-time experience, not just on the screen showing, a PDF file and
Yeah.
saying this is our project, this is our project, but really experiencing it, that was really fantastic for me, like to think about as a showcase and a kind of
Yeah.
presenting some exhibition, but your portfolio.
Yeah, the thing is that right now we're developing these things with the separate apps, but in a couple of years, the 3D internet will be mainstream. So
Mhm.
if it's there the 3D internet, then you should have the assets in it as a 3D. The JPEG and the movie won't be enough. So
Mm-hmm.
the pixels of the future's internet is the 3D assets actually. And
Exactly.
we what we have done is kind of a 3D website, or I define it more like 3D Instagram, not for the
Yeah,
pictures but for the models. So just as like
exactly.
you use the Instagram for your company's promotional
Mm-hmm,
things,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like showing projects, you can use the Teledomica as well to show the
Exactly.
buildings, the
Yeah.
furniture companies for the chairs, the artists for the sculptures. So it's a portfolio app. Also, we developed the system in folder structures. So once you go to a presentation, if you put them on the same folder, inside you can like click on the next and you can skip to the next model and explain something else in different scale as well.
And what I also find really interesting is actually, like when we present, as you say, like if you go now to Instagram, everything is 2D. You see either a sketch or a JPEG, like as a render image or a video, but they are all
Flat.
2D elements, flat elements, and they are already curated by the architect. So only looking from a certain angle and from certain view to explain the project. And the experience is only from the eye of the architect. But with this, like giving them the opportunity to experience the 3D means actually the dialogue is changing. And so the viewer or the visitor will have experience things that we didn't think about and we didn't
Yes.
really curated it, and it's like full freedom,
It's
and
naked. It's
it's
naked. It's not
naked, and
curated.
and,
Yeah, it's
and
there.
I actually it will also change the way how architects are thinking, or like because we are writing stories at the end of the day about the projects, but the building itself have another
Very good point.
dialogue with the visitor, and this will be also totally disciplinary changing aspect of this at some point.
You know, the renderings are tricky. Meanwhile, that if you have the distortion,
Mm-hmm.
people say we went to a construction company and we talking with them about this system, and the guy said like maybe we shouldn't use it because you will show it exactly what it is, and with renders we are able to sell the even the small flats like because they're looking a huge living room and so on. But this one kendi ayağımıza sıkacağız gibi bir şey.
Yes, I understand. But that's the reality, that's the real life, and
Yeah.
it's also changing and it's gonna happen, so everyone also has to get used to it, and it's the system
Yes,
changes.
but the video that I show you, the office, is my
Mm-hmm.
friend's office. So we exported into VR, and he said like, from now on, if I have something on the architects, I will require to have it not just in Teledomica but in VR because he understood that there is the potential of evaluating better. He said like, oh, this TV is a little bit low. We should hire it. I cannot pass through this. Let's move it a little bit side and so on. These are things that you cannot deliver via rendering for sure.
No, no, no,
So
exactly.
meanwhile, we experience buildings visually mostly. Okay,
Mm.
sometimes you touch to, uh, mainly Turks like it to, oh, this is stiff. This is okay, cool. What is that? But mainly we see it. The
Yeah.
sound is something a part of the space, but you can replicate it in VR as well, this sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The smell, not yet, unless we
Not
have
yet.
some biochips.
Yeah,
The smell is
exactly.
net. But if you're experiencing the building visually, it means like, okay, I give you the 90% of the idea to you with this technology.
Mm-hmm.
You have it. So it's inevitable for us to be working in the VR in the future. And Apple is coming, And also a huge difference between the approach of Apple and Meta is this that they promoted it without any gaming advertisement or whatever. Just you saw people working, connecting, calling, and so on. So what Apple is trying to convert the laptops into the headset.
Mm-hmm.
Meta is trying to make it more social device that have fun inside and so on. But the Apple one is saying, I'm going to give you infinite screens. You can open unlimited working space they're talking about. So maybe in 10, 15 years in the offices, we will see people are sitting and just putting the headset on. That's it. No screen, no computer at all. I
Most
know
probably.
it has
Most,
some advantages. If your hands are greasy, like you eat popcorn, you can use it because you touch on the air, no problem. So it has good sides as well. A
yes.
different kind of interaction with the computer. Since now we had
Definitely.
always the pressure of what is it called? Reaction from a surface. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
mouse from the table, if it's a touch screen.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
time you are on the air and new things are going to come. I would like to develop a DJ mixer specially designed for
That
the
was
VR.
going to be my question, like really.
No, there is an
When
app. There is an
after Teledomica, I mean, you will develop Teledomica that we know, and it will go really somewhere very interesting. And
hopefully.
I think in architecture sector we will be talking about it really more and more every day. But besides that, do you have another dream to achieve, like at least
Yes,
for
yes.
now,
This
a
special mixer
DJ
for
related?
yeah, yeah. You know what? There is an app which mimicked the same Pioneer mixer, the same, and also the CD players as well. But the machine is the same of the real one. Like it's a digital twin. It's working very well. But again, it's from the real world. But
Mhm,
when you design for the VR, maybe the DJ will be able to put the buttons wherever he wants.
mhm,
Maybe he will make the crossfader this big. I don't know.
mhm.
So once you have this zero gravity medium, we will develop different things. Different sport games for sure will appear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If you have other ideas, tell me later. Develop some.
Okay, we should have some brainstorming sessions from
Do we
time
have
to
any questions from people?
I don't know. Let me ask. I mean, sometimes we don't have much people watching because of the time, but later on they join kind of to watch our YouTube channel.
No,
And
okay.
we check or if there is any question from our team. But it was really explanatory session with you, this talk. Thank you very much for all the details that you shared with us. I think it was also educative. And as you say, the crucial thing will be that in universities, if our, tutors or professors, if they really give the chance to
Yes.
educate also their students or, guide them to use these kind of applications as a design tool, hani, in a way as a design tool or as a showcasing tool, it is really
I don't
important.
want to mention the name of the university, but it's a private university, and they bought five headsets last year for a project.
Mhm,
And the dean told me like we couldn't transfer the files. We didn't know how to connect the cable and so on. But with your system, it's worked perfectly. I said, okay, let's make the students use it. After a month, I asked what happened with the headset because there was no use case. We transferred it to another department. They said like
uh-huh.
so. There must be contribution from the teachers as well because I
Yeah.
think for the students it's really important to see the things in the real dimensions. Once they because you don't know what is 3 meters, what's 10 meters, what is 60
Mhm,
meters square meter, what about the ceiling and so on. So even though you don't have a perfect render, you can transport your model from SketchUp or from Blender or from Max easily and understand the basic dimensions of the space while you design at least.
yes.
Yeah. And
Thank you very
also
much.
and also I like a couple of years ago I asked Elif at AA,
Uh-huh.
show me the library. She showed me and I said like, why there is no VR headset here? You are
Yeah,
the pioneering school.
especially
She
in
said
a
there is no content. So once people start using our app to upload their portfolio, like you said, it will be also part of the libraries to see the projects, I think.
yeah, that's really interesting.
Put more projects. We will help you.
We will be really collaborating. We will continue
Yeah,
collaborating with you, and
thank
also
you.
not only collaborating, using and showcasing also
Yeah.
to our clients, or
Furnitures for your furniture's perfect medium.
you know, we work in different scales from furniture to building scale.
Yeah.
So we will continue exploring,
Okay.
collaborating, and working with you. Thank you very much for your
I thank you very much.
time, and hope to see you soon. So
Yeah.
keep in touch,
Thank
Berk.
you.